Greetings, everyone. In Borderlands 4, I have noticed a ton of people heavily underutilizing how effective Element is against certain types. Behind me, I do have a wheel of the most effective types for the most effective elements. I will go into a table that I've put together for y'all, link in the description for the spreadsheet, and I'll go over how Element works in the game. First, there is Element, and then there is Element Effect Chance. The chance itself is in order to afflict something with a status attribute. You'll see this glowing yellow thing with damage over time. That is the irradiated. The reason I like to go over this is because each damage type and each health bar type, that being flesh, armor, and shield, they have very different things that affect them. So here we have kinetic, radiation, corrosive, shield, incendiary, and cryo. The numbers above them are what they are most affected against. So here we have 175% for corrosive on armor. This would mean that it's 175% of whatever that number says. So right here we have 85 as the damage number. This will deal 85 damage unless you're fighting. It depends on the health bar. So as we can see, the corrosive has a 175% effectiveness to armor with 85% damage on the SMG itself. So if I swap this type to armor and then hit it with corrosive, we can see 148. And this gives us 175% of our damage amount on the enemy. And this is super important to note that this is affected by your difficulty type. Anything below hard, it affects everything less, but I only really focus on hard because hard and ultimate vault hunters and all of the ones above hard have the same effectiveness. Corrosive on flesh only deals 50% damage. 42, half of 85, rounded down. So the reason I like to go over this is because in harder difficulties and when they fix the bugs and you won't be able to nuke monsters anymore in like 3 seconds because of your gun, you'll be able to deal more damage. And I'm not sure if the element type affects things like Vex's bleed build, simply just because of how it scales off the damage. And just so everyone knows, I did all of this test with no skills and no specializations on a brand new character right into Ultimate Vault Hunter Rank 1. I am in someone else's game right now, so it's loaded into Ultimate Vault Hunter Rank 5. I did this just to make sure that the damage output would be the same from hard to Ultimate Vault Hunter Rank 5. So the most effective damage types against each type I have written on this wheel, but there is the least effective, the medium, and kinetic has a 100% flat base on all difficulties on all damage types. But if you're trying to speed run things, you're definitely going to want different damage types for different bosses and of the like. And some bosses have one of each of the type of health bars, so you would just want 3 different types inside of your wheel. Unfortunately, my favorite weapon is in fact the Rainbow Vomit shotgun. So this is bad news for my Rainbow Vomit shotgun. At best, it's going to average it out to be the same as kinetic. However, it does still do the elemental effect chance, and that will promote more damage going forward. All right, so the effects of each of the element types, it does vary based off of what kind of bar you're shooting at. So for instance, I have the armor bar and then I have the flesh bar, armor being most effective with corrosive shooting against it, and then flesh being the secondary effective. If I go over here and the enemy has an armor bar, you can see 33s on the screen. Also notice that I caught on fire. That is the secondary effect of specifically incineration, which it does damage the enemies around it because it catches them on fire. Then 33, and then if I change the health bar over here to red, flesh, it does 115 damage per tick. The matching of the element to the health bar could be very important in the future with bosses, especially when we can't nuke them in 5 seconds anymore, which hopefully will come. I would very much like Borderlands 4 to be at least somewhat difficult instead of it just being, what's the fastest way to nuke this guy with a disc launcher? Now, you can stack these debuffs, and the different debuffs are different based off of the type of element debuff that you are doing to the enemy. So, for instance, Frozen doesn't do any damage. Instead, it just freezes them in place. You can actually see that take effect here because these are static enemies. The spreadsheet reflects so. So I do hope that everyone enjoys that tidbit in how element actually affects things inside of the game. A lot of people don't build for this or even care about it. I see a lot of people just picking out their favorite whatever and then using it for everyone, which is fine if you want to do that. Honestly, right now Borderlands 4 has no difficulty whatsoever, even in Ultimate Vault Hunter rank 5. Anyway, I did this on Twitch. I do a lot of stuff on Twitch. If you're interested, check me out. I will be doing a lot more stuff, and my next game is Blue Protocol, which will be my next flagship game. If you're just interested in which guns deal the most, I will move, and you can just take a screenshot of my wheel of element. Anyway, y'all have a sick day, and peace out.